Hey folks, it's Eric here, and in this video I'm going to talk about something that's very important if you want to achieve anything notable in life, and that thing is focus. If you want to be any sort of leader, if you want to be any sort of successful entrepreneur, academic, politician, you name it, anybody who is going to be successful in life needs to have focus. It's not necessarily about putting in the hours. It's not necessarily about hard work. It's not necessarily about finding the right plan, getting the right education, having the right friends, although all those things play into what I'm talking about here. What it's most about is focus. And I'm talking about a simple issue of emotional and mental bandwidth. And you could say even spiritual bandwidth, like you know, where your life purpose intersects with your actual actions on a day-to-day basis, who you are, what you stand for, what your dreams are. That's a spiritual thing to me. I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. And for me to align my character, my personality with the goal is something that, you know, didn't always come easily. But I can tell you right now, I'm 37 years old. It's 2021, turning 38 this month, and basically I have achieved a focus on doing what I wanted to do over the last 8 years. I've built a successful business that is now making, it's in seven figures US dollars per year turnover. And the hardest thing about that was getting the focus and chopping out the noise. So if you want to be successful in life on a level of leadership, on the level of achieving something great that other people think is impossible, the only way to make it possible is focus. And I went to a lot of personal development seminars about 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and basically I learned some very important things like, yeah, let me just do one thing and I'll be right back with you. So I got a little distracted while I was talking about focus. Ironic, isn't it? Anyways, sometimes that happens. I've got ADHD or whatever you call it, which means that I focus on the things that are actually important to me and not important to other people, not important to power systems, not important to family, parents, friends. I focus on what I actually want to fucking focus on. And that's who I am. And that's what ADHD means. And most entrepreneurs have it. They say they haven't found, I don't know, forget who said this, but they haven't found an entrepreneur who has a normal brain yet. Anyway, so it's about focus. And I went to a bunch of personal development seminars, and they told me that I could only be successful if I put in, 100 hours a week into my business. My business is not successful. And I've done it, usually putting less than 60 hours a weekend, sometimes less than 40. I don't know. 40 to 60 hours a week seems about normal. And basically, it was about focus. And the reason they probably tell you at these personal development seminars is that you have to put in 100 hours a week or whatever is because they know that most people in their free time will do stuff that's absolutely of zero consequence, that doesn't enrich their lives, that doesn't bring them closer to their goals at all. They'll do mindless distractions like watching fiction, watching television series, and watching movies, all this sort of stuff, by playing board games, by going and talking nonsense with their friends, by chasing, sex, by taking drugs, all this stuff. I do a little bit of all that stuff, but one thing is actually paramount in my life is my focus and my dedication to keeping my emotional and mental bandwidth ready to go, ready to focus on the things I need to focus to get where I'm going. So most people, they just want to have a job, 9 to 5, whatever. Afterwards, go see their friends, play some board games, go in and do this, so go to the movies, eat some crappy food, all that sort of stuff, and watch some sports and all that stuff. All that stuff is meaningless when you find meaning in your life, when you find focus, when you find a cause that you're going to actually put your heart into. All that stuff is meaningless. And so, yeah, for people who would otherwise be doing those meaningless things, telling them to spend 100 hours a week on their business so it absolutely consumes their life is the right thing. But for me, I found that Running a business is more about hitting the right places, more about putting structure and delegating tasks and automating tasks that need to be, and doing that with a purpose, that need to be like taken off your plate so you don't have to work 100 hours a week. That's the grind, folks. But if you have structure, if you have focus, then you're going to set up a structure, a system in your business, and it can flourish without you spending all this time. And I previously made videos about why I'm not into fiction, why I'm not into this, why I'm not into that, why I do exercise, why that's important to me, and other stuff isn't. Meeting random people for beer can be fun sometimes, but there's a time and place for that. That's the weekend. But during the week, you need focus. I literally have a schedule now where Mondays leading into the week, scheduling everything for the rest of the week, basically. Friday is a leading out day where I'm tying up loose ends from the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, balls to the wall work, focus, doing what I need to do, getting all the calls on people I need to with people I need to talk to, and getting all that work done in an orderly and focused way, one task to another, trying not to get too distracted by things that don't matter, trying not to always be available for anybody who wants to talk to me anytime. No, focus. So, having a dream, like this dream of support adventure that I set up that allows people to live and work remotely around the world in places that inspire them. That is what has consumed my life the last 5 years. But I also continue my music, which also requires a sort of focus. But I've got this artistic musical soul, and I'm always hearing these melodies and words in my head, and it all ties into my message. And so I have to continue the music. And that requires a different focus. That requires a different part of me, but I still do it because it has meaning in my life. So what I'm saying is you need to wire your brain so it's attached to some sort of meaning, attached to responsibility, attached to producing something, building something, and looking at a big picture of something. That's what I mean by spiritual. What's fulfilling your soul? What's going to make you um, feel amazing about your life if you build? And then you start envisioning that. You start trying towards that. You start making mistakes and getting towards that. And you start, next thing you know, you've built something. It's 5 years later, I've built something. I built a business now, and it feels really good. And you have to say no to a lot of people who want to distract you. Hey, do you want to do this? No. Hey, what do you think of this? I don't know. Give short answers to people who give you stuff you're not interested in. You don't owe them anything. And I like to find people who are good to work with, and then also only hire people who I actually like spending time with. Because if I'm going to sacrifice a lot of my social life for work, then I want to be working with people who I truly love working with, who I truly love as human beings, and I wouldn't sacrifice that. So that will help with focus. If you've got a common goal with the people you're working with, and you're also their friends, but it comes work first. If you hire your friends to do work, it's less powerful than if you hire people to do work and then become their friends. Let me tell you. But you shouldn't hire people based on qualifications. You should also hire based on your gut feeling. You should also hire based on your emotional compatibility with the people you're working with, the shared values and all that stuff, the big picture stuff. And yeah, that unconscious radar that you have. That's really important. And then you build a world that's focused around the things that are important that you build in your life. Then you can become somebody who's significant, achieving things that are of significance to other people. Because the way that you become significant is you rise to a position where you can provide some sort of leadership values or solution to other people. That's where significance comes from. So a lot of people chase it out of their ego, and they're too concerned with what other people think of them. But if you attain significance, you attain by first seeking within yourself and finding value within your own heart, and then building that out to figure out how you can, you know, tap into your dreams, tap into your own experience, and provide value to other people's experiences. Then you will achieve significance, but you'll have done it honestly, without coming from a place of insecurity, without coming from a place where you're only doing it to gratify your own ego, where you're actually there and you're setting boundaries, you're making decisions. Sometimes the decisions are tough, but if you have the big picture, then your gut will tell you what the right decision is. And so you can rise to a position of leadership, but only if you have that focus. If you're only a part timer or somebody who just wants to do a little bit, no. When I, as an entrepreneur, when I have a problem, it goes right into my very core, and I live inside that problem to explore all the possible solutions, to look at it from all the different angles. And that's what I mean by focus. That's what I mean by taking the time. Certainly you're going to do a lot of that if it's 100 hours a week, but also as an entrepreneur and someone who wants to achieve greatness, having time to think about stuff is really important. And that's why you have to say no to a lot of distractions on the weekends and stuff, and that people want to hang out, and that will take your emotional energy. But if you just sort of go for a walk alone, ride your bike around the city and all that stuff like I do, then you're actually letting all the inputs that you've had from the work week sort of compile in your head and bring new meaning and stuff to it without having the burden of having to expend your emotional energy at that moment. So the more you give yourself breathing room to let your focus solidify, the more you're going to be able to be on point when you're at work and provide insights and provide an output which is productive, because you can spin your tires forever, but it won't get you anywhere without focus, vision, and a big picture. So thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.